You know the drill. Morgoth, the Lord of the Earth. How does he look like? For the sake of this video, I will divide Morgoth, instead of into forms, into stages. Stage 1, Valaquenta. This is Morgoth as he appeared during the Valaquenta, when he was at his most beautiful and terrible. Stage 2, Years of the Lamps. This is a darkened and evil Morgoth, now resembling a dark lord, more than the fair I knew he was not long ago. Stage 3, Years of the Trees. Now, Morgoth has finally fallen fully into darkness. For his fair form during this time, watch my Sauron video. Stage 4, Years of the Sun. This is Morgoth as a Dark Lord, fully transformed and destroyed. And finally, Stage 5, War of Wrath. This is the final and crippled Morgoth. During the Valaquenta, Morgoth, now Melkor, was described as... This implies he is a towering figure, dwarfing most other Valar, as none of them were described, however large they were, as this huge. He would likely be 12 to 13 feet tall, which would be nearly twice as tall as the 7 to 8 foot Númenóreans. However, Melkor seems to have a deeper relation with ice than with fire. Though some fire and smoke is visible, for the most part he is connected with cold and ice. This implies that while he is evil, he does not seem to be hideous or corrupt. For example, compare the clean and cold wraith of Angmar with the monstrous and fiery orcs of Mordor. His eyes also seem to have a similar trait. While he has some corruption in him at this point, he is mostly pale and icy. His eyes, thus, would likely glow, yet not be the same fiery red as the other villains of LOTR. Overall, he would likely be a huge and pale figure, 12 to 13 feet tall, with livid and glowing wan eyes, and his entire body radiating heat to a degree, but for the most part, icy and pale. During the Years of the Lamps, Melkor would only be a darker and more exaggerated form of the features before. His skin would begin to grow blacker, and he would start to develop the shadows that the other Balrogs possess. It is worth noting that the Balrogs were originally just mire of flame before becoming full-on demons. His attire would now also change. He would now bear the armor of a Dark Lord, and, as I mentioned in the Sauron video, he now may begin to use kinetic weaponry. Eventually, he switches to Grond, though whether he starts here or during his 4th stage is unknown. He could not have likely acquired it while in Valinor, 3rd stage, as it was a dark weapon and unlikely to be easy to acquire there. His eyes would likely also gain a red hue while not being completely crimson. Overall, Melkor would now be a cross between the full-on Dark Lord of Stage 3 and the Valar of Stage 1, with the features of the former to a less exaggerated degree. You remember how I described the previous Melkor as wavering on the edge of Dark Lord? Well, this Melkor is full-on. He was even described as such by the book. While he didn't have his territory until after the end of this time period, he was still a Dark Lord, quote, tall and terrible. Overall, Melkor was not fully dark. His appearance was now similar to Sauron's, see the video. The only difference is he lacked his armor and weaponry. Stage 4 is best analogized to the classic Melkor, now Morgoth. He has the demonic features of his previous form, but also possesses the armor of Sauron. Well, not literally the armor of Sauron, however, that same style of armor. However, as time goes on, Morgoth grows weaker. His growing darkness eclipsed this in Stage 2 and 3, but now it is clearly visible. He is more fleshy than Stage 3 and relatively slow. Overall, this Morgoth is simultaneously weaker and stronger than Sauron. He is more massive and powerful, yet also more fleshy and slow. And finally, Stage 5 Morgoth is... drumroll please... glory in Dagoroth, but in Stage 5 he is basically a fleshy giant, leaving him vulnerable to attack and easy to defeat. Relatively speaking, of course. Overall, this Melkor has all the shadow and the fire of before lessened, leaving exposed skin, and he is immensely slow / cumbersome. And that's all, really. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and tell me what I could do better if you didn't. But still give me a like. And remember, this is all my opinion, so it is obviously true. Goodbye.